Okay, let me give you an example here, okay? So I consider myself an American. Now, let's say I had a time machine. I traveled back to 1804 in America, right? And I step out of the time machine, okay? I step into, say, I don't know, some southern state. I have a backpack full of ammunition and weapons that won't be invented for 200 years. And I have a Judge Dredd rut of a time across the South, okay? I'm imitating Sherman. I'm having a grand old time. I'm John Browning my way through the countryside, screaming about how I'm an American, this, that, the other. Now, in the time period that I'm in right there, and honest to God, in most of the South today, all the traits that I consider being American have nothing to do with what they understand as being American. Initially, the founding fathers were so racist, they thought that Germans were too swarthy for the Anglo characteristic of the colonies. So a characteristic, like a role, a trait, I'm an American, that's something that I ascribe to myself. But at the same time, I could exist in a context where I reject basically everything associated with that trait, with that role. For the same reason that there are women, even cisgender women, who have historically rejected everything about it. Joan of Arc, or I don't know, Mulan allegories.
And what makes them
history.
Women?
Because they identify as it.
Okay, so if I were to tell you a blarg is somebody who identifies as a blarg, can you tell me what that is?
I wouldn't. Why would I have to tell you what that is? You just told me the term.
Okay, or if I were to say this, on your screen right now, as far as I can see, there is a blarg. Can you point to it?
You made the term. How would I be able to point to it?
No, I defined it for you. I said a blarg is something that's a blarg.
Okay, so
what
here is a blarg?
Oh, I just defined it.
So again, a man,
or is there a problem with circular definitions?
So what you just said was really dumb. A man is someone who identifies as a man. I'm a man. Now point to the man on your screen.
Okay, now that wasn't my question though.
It's not that hard, right? Because I've done two things. I constructed a definition and then I pointed to what a representation of that is.
Okay, so in order to create a definition, all you have to do is make it circular and then point to an example of it. But the problem with that is we don't know what it is.
You can literally do that. We create new words all the time doing exactly this. Oh, this is such a vibe. What's a vibe? This is a vibe. Oh, hey, I've now decided. Here's a new term, doubles. A double is like when it's like this. It's like these kind of things, you know, like this kind of stuff. Well, there you go. This is language. We do this literally all the time. I'm not like, this sounds facetious, but like we do this constantly. New music genres are invented like this nonstop.
Hold on. Yeah.
Words get codified.
If I were to say a blarg is somebody who identifies as a blarg, then I pointed at myself and James and I said, we're both blargs. Can you tell me what it is now?
Why would I need to know what it is? Someone who identifies it.
Based on the information that I gave you, can you tell me what that word refers to?
You.
Me and James.
What you're arguing. What you're arguing. So wait, what you're arguing. No. Wait. You're mixing two things up. You're mixing. You're mixing
the actual referring of the word.
You're mixing
two
things up.
Of a triangle without it being the definition of
what you're mad about is that this definition doesn't seem very useful. There's nothing wrong with what just happened. You said a blarg is when someone identifies as one. I identify as a blarg. I now know everything I need to. You're a blarg. That's it. There's literally nothing wrong. There's no problem with circularity. Language exists this way. This is normal. The question is this definition useful? Right. You're talking about utility. And hey, I agree. I'm a gender abolitionist. I don't give a shit about gender. So if we could just get rid of all of this and not bother with it, that would be phenomenal. But in the meantime, as long as we have a bunch of arbitrary associations around like what it means to be a man or a woman, a bunch of widely held expectations, mind you, about what it means to be a man or a woman, then people are going to have preferences for which group they want to associate with. And as long as they want that, I'm fine with it.
Trans men aren't men then. If the word has no meaning, then trans men aren't men. The same way I can't say a water bottle.
And you aren't a woman.
Wait, hold on. The same way I can't say that a water bottle is a blarg because we don't really know what a blarg is. A blarg has no meaning.
You can't say that.
So hold on, wait. Then we would need to know what it means.
You don't. No. You don't. No, you just said it.
Yes, we do. Because, for example, me, James, water bottle. These things are all blargs. What is the property that they have in common?
I don't know. Why? I don't care. Wait, why?
Okay, and that's the same problem with the definition of man.
Wait, no. Again, you're attacking utility. First of all, things that all belong to a group or to a term don't have to have a shared characteristic.
Uninformative has to refer to.
That's utility. You're describing.
It's a fallacy.
No. It's not about. Don't misuse the term fallacy.
No, it is.
No. Please. No. Stop. Wait. Stop. Please. Wait. No. Listen. What you're just describing right now are useless terms. You're describing terms that don't provide meaning. They don't elucidate. They don't give you understanding. That's fine. There are lots of words like that. If your
That's what
problem,
a contradiction is.
Please,
That's
no, you need to understand this if you ever, because you're going to be showing this PowerPoint off to like 70 more people, and they're all going to tell you this, and you need to learn now, okay? Language does not give you a right to utility. Usefulness, consistency, broadly shared terms between things within a same definition, language guarantees none of these things. The idea of like, well, it's a fallacy to have a term that refers to a thing when you don't know that. No, it's not. That's not what a fallacy means. A fallacy
Can I
is
give you an example?
Wait, no. A fallacy is a logical contradiction. When you say a blarg is this, these are blargs, and leave it at that, you have not constructed a logical contradiction. You have actually created a perfectly consistent and self-contained bubble of information. It's just useless info.
So if we had a squared circle, can you envision a squared circle?
So again, square and circle have mutually exclusive. Well, first of all, you can round the edges of a square.
It's a contradiction. Something can't be both square and both circle at the same time because it violates the logical law of non-contradiction.
Well, that would really depend.
If I were to tell somebody, envision a squared circle, they would always never be able to do it because it's a contradiction, right? And that is what renders that uninformative.
You're incorrect. That is
why we have the fallacy of non-contradiction.
I have Googled squared circle and found multiple definitions. It can refer to a boxing ring. You can have a circle enclosed within a square. That's not what I'm referring to.
You could have asked for clarification.
Oh, well, that's interesting. It's almost like language is an imperfect way of referring to real world ideas, and your attempts to try to apply a kind of failed logical consistency onto these arbitrary social categories is kind of stupid and self-defeating. You can have a squared circle. I'm envisioning it now. You can't see my mind because, you know, it's beautiful.
Okay, you can draw it, but can you envision a shape that has 4 equal 90-degree angle sides, square, and also simultaneously is a round plane with a 360-degree angle? Like, that is not possible because it violates the law of non-contradiction.
They have mutually exclusive definitions.
Correct. They have mutually exclusive definitions. So if I were to tell somebody and gave them that background, envision a square circle, they'd never be able to do it. It's uninformative.
So what does that have to do?
The same applies.
But we're talking about language.
Apply to man. The same applies to man. If you say a man, somebody who identifies as a man, and I say, what's that? And somebody who identifies as a man, social stuff doesn't have to work. So identifies as a man, then it would be the same with the blarg example I gave.
No, wait, hold on. You have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so let me explain this to you. When we talk about a square and a circle having mutually contradictory definitions, the reason for that is because we are assuming that the definition for both of those things adheres to the mathematical description of a square and a circle. Both of these terms have mathematical descriptions. If you were to twist those definitions, then you could create a squared circle with any set of categories, characteristics, or non-literal meanings. But again, we're referring to physical mathematical constructions. To try to ascribe the law of non-contradiction as applied in this case to social categories betrays, and just I'm not going to dust around it.
Logic is universally applied.
No. You don't understand what a social category is. You were unable to.
Logic is universally applied.
No, stop.
No,
science. This is like 101 stuff. This is like an economist talking about like supply and demand.
I don't know, like the first thing I hear every time I take a philosophy class is that logic is universal.
No, stop. Logic is universal, but the logic of social constructs and concretely defined mathematical categories are different. This is the reason why nobody has a definition for what it means to be black. You can look if you want, by the way. There are philosophers, anthropologists, sociologists, and biologists who have all gotten on the case. There's no answer to it. In reality, outside of the abstract definitions of mathematics, everything in all logic is conditional to our circumstantial analysis of the situation. That's just how life is, especially with language, where we make the words. None of this has anything to do with the definition of man.
Mutually contradictory concepts. So
no, I have not. You just haven't understood the construct.
A man is somebody who identifies as a man, and then a man is somebody who identifies with the social role we typically associate with males. These two don't have to be true at the same time.
Being a man is being the looking at the world and being viewed through a given framework associated with those roles and expectations.
Okay, but now you're changing it. Do you understand that?
No,
you had never
I've said this. No, I've said this about a dozen times, so I'm going to say it one more time. There are roles and expectations we associate with being a man. They change from culture to culture, time period to time period. That is what we think of as a man in a social sense. We do have preconceptions of what it means to be a man. different ones, contradictory ones, but they still exist. And when a person says, I
Do you
identify as
think
a
we should
man,
adopt contradictions? Logic, if we can, agree it's a logical contradiction, do you think it can be a
no,
contradiction
it's not a
and be
logical
true?
contradiction. It is
You
a,
just said contradiction.
no,
How
no,
is
okay, no, see, this is your problem. You're trying to apply a 101 understanding of logic. This is a contradiction in definition, which is not a logical
which is a
contradiction.
reference?
No,
Okay,
no,
hold
no,
on, hold
no,
on.
no, no, no,
Let
no,
me give you
no,
an
please, wait,
example.
are you aware, wait, hold, no, no, no,
example.
no, stop. Are you aware of the fact that different cultures have contradictory definitions of what it means to be a man in terms of like socially, like, are you a man? Like that kind of thing.
People refer to different things, but when I'm saying, for example, I will say, when I refer to a triangle, I'm referring to a
We're talking
three-sided.
about social constructs, not distinct mathematical abstract concepts.
What is a social construct?
I really wish you would have Googled that before talking to me.
Okay, so when you say a social construct, if I understood correctly, it's a concept that we define socially that is not emergent from the universe.
Yeah, like we don't pluck the definition or the understanding of this thing from some kind of abstract
So
thing.
then this gets into this problem. Do you think that men and women existed before Homo sapiens developed complex language?
The social construct of what it means to be a man or a woman in a gendered sense? No, of course not.
So there were no men and women prior to the Western linguistic development?
Wait, but before the word man and woman?
Yeah. Were there men and women before the word man
Yeah,
and
there have been
woman?
analogous terms to those in previous languages. And
Okay, so then it seems that they are emergent still from
no,
reality.
no, that's not, wait, no, that's not emergent from the universe. That's different languages giving different terms to the same fundamental, like, part of human
What does
existence.
emergent from are humans not emergent from the universe?
Oh,
Like,
oh God, no. Do you understand
no?
the difference between a triangle, something that you can arrive at from first principles, and what it means to be a man, something that you arrive at through observation and explanation?
I think all concepts are that which exist within reality
Okay,
and the
so
universe.
what
So
you're
you
engaging
define?
in? Okay,
Wait, hold
so
on.
wait, 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 wait,
A
hold,
man?
wait.
How is a human man not emergent from the
So
universe?
what you're doing here is called scientific positivism. That's something you should write down to look up in the future. There was a philosophical movement about 200 or so years ago that's mostly died down that was under the impression that the laws and principles of scientific analysis were capable of solving all human problems because everything we are and everything we do adheres ultimately to scientific principles. They were wrong. They were actually deeply racist lunatics who believed that all of their pre-existing social biases were just them understanding the material thread of reality. In reality, most social stuff is done through social work. Sociology, anthropology, history, interpretation, analysis, economics, political theory. The idea that, say, for example, communism is plucked from the threads of the universe, simply not true. It's a product of human understanding, a subjective, partial, and
Is
often
human
shifting.
understanding within the universe?
Wait, I
Is
didn't say, wait,
consciousness? I'll say
everything, wait,
consciousness.
everything is
No.
within the universe. The question is,
Did it emerge from the universe?
from first principles?
Something like
So you're
consciousness. Let's just
misunderstanding
take
these
that.
terms.
No, I'm not.
We don't
Do
understand
you
what
want to clarify
consciousness
then?
is.
What do you mean
What?
when you say emerged from the universe? As far as I'm concerned, everything emerged from the universe.
Okay. If something's definition is self-evidently a product of the systems that have been used to construct it, that is to say, like a triangle, like mathematical and scientific theories like gravity, like our understanding of atomic structures and molecular structures, these things are to some extent subject to our social interpretation, but we're mostly just observing and giving names to the universe. With things like what a man is, we made that. What a man is would die with our species. A triangle would not. There are plenty of things that we take for granted in the day-to-day that if the Earth was annihilated in a nuclear hellfire,
Okay.
would not reemerge. The triangle would.
Okay, I actually the concept of man, if humans were to go extinct, that would die. But this gets into the implication of like, do you think the word human or Homo sapien is a social construct too?
Yeah, yeah. Our difference in species differentiation is one.
Taxonomy?
Yeah, that is 100% socially determined. There are literally arguments within the field of taxonomy, whether or not like two species should be considered the same or not. Like this is ongoing debate. I'm sure that these
I mean,
lines
I
will
agree with
change all
that,
the
but
time.
clearly it's not a social construct. It's very a scientist
No,
trying
it's
to
no,
point
it's
universals.
literally a social construct where they're arguing over whether or not it would be more or less useful to us socially to separate these definitions. It is literally a social construct.
Okay, so when you say like a man is a social construct, what do you mean by that?
I mean that these are things we made it. We're not pulling this from the universe. We're not arriving at it from first principles. We get to choose what it is. We choose the terms. Taxonomists get to decide whether or not a red flying squirrel and a beige flying squirrel are the same species, and we get to decide what a man is. These terms, there's no harm in making a wrong decision. You can't make a wrong decision.
So like with the term man, when we say man, what phenomena are we referring to?
Well, we're referring to a social phenomenon
Of
of the traits, roles, and expectations that we generally associate with the identity associated with all of those traits, roles, and expectations.
But that's not correct, because you still would refer to people as men, as you've said to me, if they don't identify with those things.
No. The identity. They identify with the identity. The identity is constructed and socialized around all of those traits.
Yeah, plenty of trans men don't identify with the identity of male typical traits.
Of male. No, it's like 50 times I keep saying this. The only thing that you're identifying with is being a man. Being a man is this orbit, this framework, this construct. You can reject every single individual characteristic associated with being a man and still be one. There are cisgender women who have made an effort to reject every single word.
Are you familiar with like the use mention distinction?
Yes.
Okay, so you're mentioning the word man, correct? Not using it?
I'm in this context, I think I'm doing both. What contradiction do you think there is?
Because if you said that somebody can reject every referent for man but still be a man, it just seems that a man is somebody who identifies as a man means a man is somebody who identifies with the word man.
Well, yeah, in the English language, sure.
Okay, so if a man is somebody who identifies as the word man, then you still run into the problem of the only men are English-speaking men.
Well, then there would be, right, and whatever the Spanish word for man is, I could only guess at mano. Then there you go. They have the mano category.
Okay, so if we have a hermano is someone who identifies as a hermano, and a man is somebody who identifies as a man, you do realize that would make the English speaker not a hermano because they don't identify with that word, and that would make the Spanish speaker not a man because they don't identify with that word.
We already have that.
Under the use mentioned.
Yeah, we already have that. The definition for what it means to be a woman.
So then
wait. This isn't even a trans thing, is the thing. What it means to be like a good woman has varied through Christendom to Islam to like modern day America to India to like, so like if a person was like a woman in like a social sense in America in the 1920s, the clothing she wore, the way she talked, the way she acted, whatever, and then she went over to say, I don't know, like Afghanistan, she would not be considered a woman in a social sense. She would be considered like a Western woman. She would be recognized as biologically female.
Okay.
But the idea of like, oh, now she, like the idea of these like social roles being culturally identical across borders, that's the whole point. Like, that's why these are social constructs.
And you have to concede that there are no non-English speaking men.
Well, we would call them men in the same way we do with, okay, so what you're doing
right
no, wait, I can't let you get away with that.
Okay.
That is true in the case of like every word. So for example, Russians don't have the word soldier. They have a different word. So technically there are no Russian soldiers, except we're not idiots. So the Russian word for soldier, whatever it is, you know, they're like, oh, they have those. Okay, so let's not be stupid and understand that's a soldier. This is what I meant at the very beginning with talking about chair and American, things you were never able to provide a contrary example to. The stick up your ass you have for trans identification would fuck over all language. You would destroy, you're killing language. You're murdering it right now. And no, genuinely, like your lack of understanding of the way language functions, the ambiguity of language, you defined cool as thing you like when it's a noun. You would take the American literary classics and you would choke them to death in their sleep. No language could survive your drive to exclude trans men. Has a casualty count beyond what you could imagine. If you were reshaping the universe to exclude them in the fashion you chose to, for no reason, by the way, you would fuck over the entire construct that we have for referring to things. These are not standards you can apply elsewhere.
You are saying somebody can be a man if they identify with man, correct?
No. I'm
That's what you
speaking.
said.
No, this is very simple. Males exist in all countries and all cultures. It's just how we're built. And in every culture, there are sets of roles and expectations associated with being male. And those social roles, because these are social, because they're roles, right? That's not biological. That is what I mean when I say man. And regardless of the words we're using to describe it, understanding these terms shift, they don't have a concrete definition because they're social constructs.
Okay.
Then the manner of identifying as a man is simply saying, this is the category that I wish to belong to, even if I reject
What
its
does that
individual...
category mean?
I just said the category of what we associate with.
But you already conceded that that is not a necessary condition to be a man.
No, I can't keep saying this. You identify with the category, not with all of the things associated with it. Like how I agree. Like how I identify with the category American, despite rejecting an overwhelming majority of what people consider American to refer to. So there's no contradiction here, because when you talk about definitions in this way, you can't disprove someone. You could never prove somebody wrong if they said, yeah, I'm American, like in a cultural sense, like, you know, I love America, American. You couldn't prove them wrong, because some of the most fervent advocates for America in like a theoretical sense have been people who hated the actual country, like John Brown types who would fight and die to make this country less terrible than it is, who hate it and its people and its leaders, but still consider themselves Americans. You can't prove them wrong. So many words work this way. Just like you can't prove a person wrong when somebody says they're cool, but you can still think they're wrong.
Americans are people who identify as Americans, and then hombres in Spanish are people who identify as hombres, and then in English we have men are people who identify as men. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay. So that is the problem I'm having with, is that it still entails vicious circularity.
But we've addressed the circularity argument with the cool argument.
So now we can agree
no. Well, I didn't agree to those definitions. I don't know what a Muslim is. That's a complicated question.
You don't have to reevaluate.
No. Wait, real. So wait. So
just
no. That's what we're talking about. No, stop. At no point. No. You're actually acting in bad faith if you don't realize that what you're asking right now is insane. Who cares, nerd?